Welcome everyone to it's gonna be a loud, actually not that loud, I can be loud out here because if you notice, Texas Rangers Daily is taking place in a different location, one time only, or maybe a couple of times only. I also do wrestling commentary, a post for King of Sports Wrestling, and so out here in the shop is the only place I can be as loud as I need to be technically for commentary, because you gotta get excited, you gotta get, the blood pumping and the crowd working, even though the crowd's not really there. So yeah, I'm out here in the shop, in the drum shop actually, because if you look behind me, that's my girlfriend's kit over there, and then like right behind me is my kit. And so yeah, we're out here rocking and rolling where some rocking and rolling happens. And the Rangers have been rocking and rolling through the off season. Yeah, it's starting, the off season starting to really get into pace as the Rangers are being talked about in plenty of trades and free agents. But this is a situation where the Rangers don't have a lot of history. I'm kind of doing something funky right here because I needed to get my handy dandy notebook. And yeah, so the Rangers are in a situation right now where they need a first baseman because, like Jeremy Trotter of Sports Illustrated says, Jake Burger probably shouldn't be looked at as a long-term fix at first base. So if Jake Burger is not the one to do it, who is? Well, it might be Kazuma Okamoto. Okamoto. Yeah, I did that right. See, I'm good at this. Yeah, Okamoto. I'm terrible at it. It's Kazuma Okamoto. Anyway, Rangers must decide what direction they are going, according to Jeremy Trotter of SI, because with Jake, like I said, he's in arbitration this year, which is fine. That's fine, but if you want to think about him beyond next year, I don't think, and neither does Jeremy, think that should be the thing. So maybe go the Japanese route, go to the NPB and pick one of their studs that's coming out in posting this year, which is Okamoto. Okamoto had a really good season, a really good career, 11 years in the NBP. He hit 277, 361, and 521 slugging percentage. So that's pretty good. It's not like Otani numbers or Ichiro numbers or anything like that, but it is good. And he had power. See, that's where I'm hoping it can actually translate, because guys like Hideki Matsui and now Otani, the power has translated over from Japan to the United States and Major League Baseball. So I'm actually hoping that maybe the power can translate, because he's looking at he had from 2018 to 2023, he had 30 or more home runs. He is a need. He's a need. With that 361 on base percentage, seems like he has patient at bats. He's got a good baseball head on his shoulders. And the Rangers honestly desperately need someone at first base who can hit the ball and can give long, good, quality at bats. And apparently his glove isn't that bad either. So you know what? Okamoto, come on down, brother. But the Rangers, here's the thing about the Rangers, and this is why it might be something that the Rangers might not do, because the Rangers don't really go to Japan. Now, they had one of the biggest Japanese signings in all of baseball history with Yu Darvish. That kind of really set the trend of the posting and the whole all the money going to these teams in Japan for their players and stuff like that. But after that, they didn't really do anything until Tateyama, and a couple of years after that. I actually met Yoshinori Tateyama. He's pretty good. And then they waited a whole decade to get Kohei Arihara. So the Rangers don't dip their toes in the MPB waters very often. I think they should this one. I think that this would be a very, very smart decision for the Rangers to go ahead and get some Okamoto. Now we're going to Okamoto talk about the Rangers defense. The Rangers had a record-setting defense this year. Yardbarker reports that the Rangers led the league in defensive runs saved. And not only that, they were 10 runs ahead of the next possible candidate, which would have been the Chicago Cubs, which means that is a wide margin of success comparative to the next team. That is great. That's fantastic. That means this team was head and shoulders above the rest, the best defensive team. They had 3 players in the top 13 of defensive runs scored, regardless of position, and also has set a major league record in fielding percentage with a 991 fielding percentage. And now it kind of breaks down to like a 991-2, which is better than the 991, I guess, 3 or 991-1 that the Baltimore Orioles had in 2013, I believe. So, yeah, it's very good. You had a career best in the defensive run scores from both Corey Seager and Adolis Garcia, which that makes the arbitration conversation a little harder with a guy like Adolis because his defense is still a plus actually. And so, a good arbitrator or a good, agent is going to be able to talk to the arbitrator and be like, hey, look, my client still holds a place in this league. And if this team is the place where he's going to be, he's going to, need some cashola. And so, yeah, that could be bad. But not all the Rangers defense was good. In fact, some of it was absolutely god-awful. Josh Young and Jonah Heim both negative in their positions. And Jonah Heim was a Gold Glove winner. Josh Young was supposed to be a Gold Glove caliber third baseman. That's what we thought. We thought we were getting a much better player with both Jonah Heim and Josh Young from the way 2023 went along. And now we're understanding that maybe those players aren't going to live up to their potential. So let's see where we go. Let's see where we go from here. And where do we go from here, guys? We got to talk about one of the people who did not live up their potential all year. And he's a new face, a fresh face, a guy with just a heart-wrenching story at the beginning of the year. And, I've said a lot about Jake Burger here on, the Texas Rangers Daily here. I'm mainly positive C when it comes to him. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be a lot of positivity when it comes to Jake Burger. In fact, if you want more Jake Burger positivity, you can go and click on one of the videos that I talk about Jake Burger in. You'll find that if you go ahead and subscribe to Texas Rangers Daily, like and subscribe and share. Oh, yeah, by the way, Jake Burger, his slash line for the full year. We're going to talk about his splits, but a slash line for the full year. And there's Jakey over there. Or no, Jakey's over there. Sorry, I get turned around. Anyway, 236, 269, 419. That 419 slugging percentage for a guy like Jake Burger is absolutely just horrendous. Horrendous for left. And so Jake Burger brought in to hit fastballs, brought in to hit lefties. He hit lefties 264 with a respectable 815 OPS. Not too bad there, Jakey. Pretty similar splits on the home and away, except for batting average. This was interesting. He only hit 216 at home, and he hit 254 on the road. So there was something about Globe Life Park, Globe Life Field, Globe Life Park, wherever they aren't hitting at, that the Rangers, multiple people, when you look at these splits, did not hit very well in this ballpark. I wonder if there's something wrong with the batter's eye or something like that, or I don't know. Something's different about this ballpark that's not really working out for some of these guys. Let's see. Very injured the second half of the year, which was an issue, and the numbers show it. He had a fairly good August and July, and then when you get to September, wow, the drop-off. And he played a lot of games in September comparative to the other months. 206, 239, and 429 were the slash lines with a 667 OPS. Abysmal. 4 home runs, but that was it. That was all he was doing. You know why? Because he had no doubles. He had at least one double in every other month. The last month of the season where he played 19 games, 0 doubles. He was not driving the ball at all. In fact, he had the second most Ks of any month he had, except for the first month where he had 32 strikeouts in the first month in a couple of weeks. My God, Jake Burger. And so that month in the first couple of weeks, I will give Jake some pass. You know what I mean? He dealt with a lot during the offseason. He absolutely had to, move, start a new thing in a new city and all this stuff with his daughter. And, there's lots probably running through Jake Burger's head. I cannot excuse that last month of the season because that should have been, and he had kind of made progression, should have been at a point to where he came back after the injury. He was hitting well. He was not hitting well. He was not seeing the ball well, not hitting the fastball, not hitting lefties. It wasn't doing anything. So sorry, Jake, that just was not a very good year, and that's why I agree with Jeremy, and the fact that Jake Burger's probably not going to be your long-term solution at first base. It's fine. It happens. The Rangers have made some really good free agent signings in the past, like we're about to, talk about right here. Jake Berger is clearly not going to be the same. Remember, the same as Vladimir Guerrero Sr. Vladdy Sr. was awesome. I mean, the Rangers at that time were kind of missing a guy like Vladdy Sr., missing a certified banger bat in the middle of the order. They had some really good hitters. You know, Elvis Andrus, good hitter. Michael Young, a good hitter. Hank Blaylock was on the team the year before. He was just a pretty good hitter. They had good hitters, but they missed that bat in the middle of the lineup that pitchers feared. And Vladdy Guerrero was that guy. He had himself had been a couple of years removed from his prime. In fact, he had probably past that prime a couple of years before that, even before that. Probably about 4 years ago was probably the beginning of the end of his prime. But in 2009, he had 15 home runs, 50 RBIs, and 16 doubles for the Anaheim Angels in 100 games. And that was the lowest amount of games he had played in a long time, too. He had at least played like 120, 130 games in all the other seasons, and mainly 140-something games. So, yeah, 100 games, that's a lot of games missed for Vladdy, and it showed. It was his second consecutive non-All-Star year in 2009, after doing a 4 straight and then not doing one in 4 straight. So he had done 8 of the last 10 All-Star appearances and, had 2 straight years of not getting there. Then the Rangers signed him. And I remember as a young lad of, let's say this was 2009, so I would have been 20, about 20, maybe going into 20. Yeah, about 20 years old. About a 20-year-old man thinking that, cool, we got Vlad Guerrero. Great, another washed-up superstar that we probably isn't going to do anything. We were very, very wrong about that Vlad Guerrero, because that Vlad Guerrero showed up here, and he raked with a slash line, and he played 152 games, by the way, mainly DHing. 152 games, batted 300 with a 345 on-base percentage, a 496 slugging percentage. So that's an 841 OPS, 29 home runs, 115 RBIs. He was a Silver Slugger that year. He was 11th in the MVP race. Vladdy was the man that year. He is one of the main reasons that we got to the playoffs, one of the main reasons that the team felt like a threat in the playoffs, and he was terrible in the postseason. Absolutely awful. His ability to hit the wall in the playoffs, actually. No home runs, only 6 RBIs, and he hit .071 in the World Series. So I love Vladimir Guerrero, and in fact, I love the fact that his son, Vladdy Jr., is in the World Series this year, hitting well, doing what he can for the Blue Jays. They might run into a juggernaut in the Dodgers. We don't know, but here's the thing I do know. Vlad Guerrero Sr. is going to never pay for a meal here in the great state of Texas, because he was a huge part of the Texas Rangers becoming not just a World Series team, but a legitimate threat every single year, even though he was only here for 1 year. It seemed like after Vlad Guerrero got here, the Rangers started to be taken more seriously, especially by free agents. There were guys who were like, you know what, I can actually do something here in the Rangers. The Rangers aren't where my career goes to die. They're where my career could actually, go to flourish. And I would not be surprised if Adrian Beltre decided to sign here to Texas in Texas because of the way that Vlad Guerrero was treated and the way that his year went. But we don't know that for sure. I do know that you should you should subscribe, and you should share the show. If you enjoy the show, which I don't know, the sign's not out here right now. If you enjoy the show, then, do all that, and, thank Fan Arch, bye, Fan Arch. Thank you guys. Thank you out there, and you probably won't see the drum shop anytime soon, but if you do, Mono Ia, stay gold, pointy boy, and rock on.